Hello, Vinyl community. Mr. Rick here once again. Last time we did some radio broadcasts, and I about expanded all that. I don't have any more broadcast records to show you, but I thought this week that we would take a look at some albums that came out in 1970. Now, several people have done this, and but it's a series of music about rock and roll radio broadcasting that, in my opinion, is important. And they were called the Cruisin series. They came out in 1970, and they were released to the public from different radio stations all across the country. Many of you, I'm sure, are familiar with them, and several other people have done this. But I thought we'd take a look at the Cruisin series. These go from 1955 all the way to 1969. I wish I had the entire collection, but I'm missing the last 2 years, and I'm in the market for looking for one of them. The first one we'll look at is, this is Cruisin 1955, and you notice the cartoon on the front of it. Her name is Peg, and his name, I forget his name right off the bat. Eddie. Eddie is his name. And they continue these characters on through every album. There's a little series of them. This one is from 1955, and it's Jumpin' George Oxford is this guy's name. Now, I understand that when these were released in 1970, that the programs were re-recorded because all of these jocks were alive back in 1970, and they called Jumpin' George Oxford in, and they reproduced his radio show. And this has got, this is mostly R&B. It's got I Got a Woman, Ray Charles is on here. Annie Had a Baby by Hank Ballard and the Midnighters. The Moonglows are on here. The Charms, Little Walter and My Babe, and just several great songs from 1955. And there is the back of it. And that's from 1955. Jumpin' George Oxford, by the way, was from KSAN in San Francisco. I don't know if these radio stations are still aboard or not. 1956, as you can see there, is when these two are still in high school. And this is Robin Seymour. And he is from WKMH in Detroit, Michigan. And he also, there's a lot of rhythm and blues in this, but there's also some pop stuff in here. Chuck Berry's in here, the Teen Queens, the Mellow Kings, and a good broadcast also from Robin Seymour, and there's the back of that one. Go to 1957. This is an interesting one. This guy is Joe Niagara. And Joe Niagara was from WIBG, Wibbage in Philadelphia. And this one has got a lot of the Chuck Berry and a lot of the records from 1957. The Spaniels are on it, Goodnight Sweetheart, and To the Isle by the Five Satins, and Honeycomb by Jimmy Rogers. And a good track there. There's the back of this is from 1970. All mine are reissues. I don't have the originals, but I picked these up many years ago. And it's just been within the last year that I've even found out that 1968 and 1969 were available. I had no idea. I thought they ended in 1967. This is from 1958. This one is Jack Carney, and he was from WIL in St. Louis, and another good broadcast. This one, of course, is his radio. There's the 1958 Mercury radio commercial is in it, as well as the songs from the Royal Teens, Short Shorts, and Chantilly Lace by the Big Bopper, and Do You Want to Dance by Bobby Freeman, and a lot of good music there. 1959. This is Hunter Hancock. Hunter Hancock was from KGFJ in Los Angeles. And he was mostly rhythm and blues in his day. This has got the Crest 16 Candles, Just a Matter of Time by Brooke Benton, Kansas City by Wilbert Harrison, and a good broadcast there from him also. Hunter Hancock. And we're cruising to 1960. This one from 1960 is Dick Bionde, and Dick Bionde was from WKBW in Buffalo, which is in New York, of course, and a good one there. This is a good. I love the way he opens this up with Joe Jones. You talk too much, and he talks about his boss, and on the radio he talks about his boss, and he drives a Cadillac, and if you see it, throw rocks at it. And the liner notes here say that when he told him to throw rocks at his boss's Cadillac, people on the street actually did. But that's Dick Bionde from Buffalo, 1960. 1961, Arnie Woo Woo Ginsburg. Arnie Woo Woo Ginsburg is from WMEX in Boston, and this one has got the Marcells on it, the Jive 5, Nadine by Chuck Berry, Joe Dowell, and of course there are a lot of radio commercials are in here, and it's also a good track. There's the back of that one, from 1961. Here's 1962. This is Russ the Weird Beard Knight from 1962. He's on KLIF in Dallas, Texas. And he plays all the hits of 1962. Joey D and the Starlighters, Peppermint Twist, Soldier Boy by the Shirelles, and I Need Your Lovin' by Don Gardner and Dee Dee Ford. And he was an interesting personality, I'm sure, in his day. Russ the Weird Beard Knight from 62. Here's 1963. This is B. Rich Mitchell Reed from 63. And he was from WMCA from Hollywood. And this has got the Essex on it, Easier Said Than Done. Sally Go Round the Roses by the Janettes. He's So Fine by the Chiffons. And another good recording there. This is B. Mitchell Reed from 63. And we cruise up to 1964, and a guy that really made it popular. This is Johnny Holiday. Johnny Holiday got to be a sports announcer, and he did a lot of things, but this was back when he was in WHK in Cleveland, Ohio, from 1964. And this one's got Bob and Earl, the Harlem Shuffles, Nitty Gritty by Shirley Ellis, Dang Me by Roger Miller, and several others. And Johnny Holiday was he was very good in this recording, and this is a nice album to have. All of them are good listen, by the way. 1965 comes out with Russ W. Morgan, and Russ Morgan is from KHJ in Los Angeles, California, back in 1965. Now, the funny thing about these recordings from 65 on, they don't use a lot of the original records. They understand that the record companies got upset or something and made them switch, so some of these hits they had to go to the secondary budget label, and they're not the original, and it kind of disturbs the recording because you don't hear the original the way it should sound, and it's been replaced by some that were recorded on a minor label. But anyway, this is Robert W. Morgan, an interesting recording, and he is from KHJ in Los Angeles. Cruisin' 1966. This is Pat O'Day. He was from KJR in Seattle. Pat O'Day, this evidently an interesting personality. This has Wipe Out by the Safaris on it. Where Were You When I Needed You by the Grassroots. Again, it's the not the original recording, but a secondary recording on another label. And let's see, Little Red Riding Hood by Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs. That's 1966. And the last one that I have is from 1967. This is Dr. Don Rose. And Dr. Don is from Quixie in Atlanta, Georgia. And an interesting personality. This goes back when radio was really radio, when announcers were trying to keep you informed and entertained, and they came up with some of the most off-the-wall stuff to make you laugh, and they really were enjoyable. A lot of these guys are really good. They don't seem to do that today. But this was back when radio was king, and they were doing a good job. This has got Judy in Disguise by John, Fred and the Playboys, Apple Peaches Pumpkin Pie by Jay and the Techniques, and Happy Together by the Turtles. So there's the Cruisin' series, and of course 1968 I do not have, but that's from WPGC in Washington, D.C., and I am very familiar with that radio station. I used to listen to it all the time. In 1969, I'm not sure exactly which one, but I'm looking for the last 2 albums of that series. I enjoy listening to them. And that's all I've got for you right now, and we'll be back again with some other stuff, some other ideas. And if you will, drop me a comment in the comments box. I'd appreciate it, and I'll talk right back at you. And it's time for us to get our satchel and go, and we'll be back before long, though. I want you to keep looking for us, if you will. And if you, like I said, if you like our little channel here, leave us a comment in the comment section. And until we meet you again, this is Mr. Rick saying, if the good Lord's willing and the creeks don't rise, we'll see you before long.